Um, okay, so there are some OOPS concept for object-oriented programming. So first is abstraction. So what abstraction says that like abstraction hides the like actual implementation of the complexities. It just provides us the like actual functionality. Like these are the methods or functions, behavior you can expect, but you hide the actual implementation. For example, like if you consider like for a ATM class, you can have like you just know about the what are the functionality like check balance or withdraw cash. You don't know actual implementation of that in the backend side. So that is one example. In Java, we have the abstract classes and interfaces to provide the abstraction. Secondly,
No,
inheritance.
just 1 minute, 1 minute. Suppose don't have interface and abstract class. Okay, you have a only normal class. Just I will tell you. Class is any class have. Just assume class A have. Here have a method. Just like public void display. Here I am just putting system out dot println display. Okay.
Okay.
Now I am creating main method, and here I am creating the object of class A is equal to new A dot method display called A dot display. Okay. So
Okay.
in this scenario, how will you justify about the abstraction? Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, each and everything you already explained about the abstraction, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But ATM and something, just I tell you, I am virtually connected, right?
Yeah.
So here nothing know entirely how it is going to connect you and me, right?
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
also abstraction.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but this is not a programmatical answer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am expecting as a technical answer. So suppose I given this example, so you justify how will happen abstraction if I am making this kind of class.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So,
Okay, let's just move on encapsulation. You explain about the encapsulation.
okay. Okay. So encapsulation says mm, uh, encapsulation says like it provides a way to like which part of the program can access the data of the class, right? So in case of Java, we have like the several access specifier by which we can configure. We can say like which part of the program have the ability to access the code on the
No,
particular date.
just Sudipto. Actually, here is encapsulation. Is, you have any characteristic about encapsulation? No, right?
Sorry.
Have any characteristic of this encapsulation? Means this should be mandatory. This should be not mandatory. These things have any in
No.
encapsulation? No. So why you are adding private, public? Why you are adding this abstraction is encapsulation is encapsulation. Means the definition is telling wrapping or binding the data and method into the single unit. This is the simple example, nothing else about that. Basic features is telling means basic is basic means for example I give you, you are working in IT industry, right, in particular reputed company.
Yeah.
So here what are the basic thing? When company is demanding you should have high school, intermediate and graduate, right? So
yeah,
based on you will enter into the company, right? So this is the basic thing. So Java is also telling these are my basic feature, means object, abstract, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism. This is the my
yeah,
basic requirement. All application and everything should be work on the behalf of this 5 or 6 concept,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yes,
So here no need to tell about if I write Pojo, here will define private. This is the modifier only that have other definition. If I want to access outside of class, can be defined a public. Don't want access outside of class, can be defined as a private. This is your choice of
okay,
modifier. But encapsulation nothing tell you. You put this criteria, then will happen only in encapsulation. Because
yeah,
of you taking about you every time you making bean, right, in during this program, so you writing private and setter and getter, that's why you telling about this is the part of encapsulation. This is not a part of encapsulation. This is the writing concept what to be accessed outside of class, what not to be accessed outside of class. So you will decide accordingly, right?
yeah,
So encapsulation for your reference, just that's why I am telling you for reference, encapsulation just as a object entity. If you have any variable and method, once you create object, so that variable and method bind into the entity, means inside the object, automatically bind. This is the part of encapsulation.
yeah, yeah, yes, yeah,
You can tell capsule is also part of encapsulation, because of inside the capsule you will put so many mixture of medicine into the single capsule, right?
yeah,
So, so that is the outside example, not a programmatical example. That's why I asking you as a core thing.
yeah, yeah,
Similar
yeah,
about the abstraction, if you call through the dot the particular method, that call be a object dot method, that call be a abstraction. Why? Because of once your encapsulation is happen, right? So you will call particular method, that call be a abstraction. Yes, abstraction. Because of by using dot, nothing you are describing, you nothing you explaining about these things, whatever you have written in method, right? Just to
yeah,
get only the output. That's why I am telling you, hiding the complexity of behaviors. If you calling through dot, here nothing need to be write any methods behavior. Okay. Behaviors means just a body, no required any body. If you
yeah, yeah,
calling through this, right? So
yes,
this is the abstraction. Okay.
yeah,
So you tell me about polymorphism.
okay. So, polymorphism says that like when you want your same method to have the uh, different functionality based on the type of parameter or number of parameter passed. Uh, so that is called the polymorphism. So in case of Java, we have like two types of polymorphism is there. One is the compile time polymorphism, that is the method overloading. So what happens in case of method overloading, like uh, the method can be distinguished based on the type of parameters or number of parameters is there. And in case of runtime polymorphism, that is the method overriding. So it comes into play during the inheritance part. Like if you want a class method to behave slightly differently in your subclasses. You can override the method and provide a different implementation for that.
Okay. So suppose I will ask one programmatical question from you. Okay.
Okay.
So suppose just I am taking the example of overriding. Okay.
Okay.
So suppose you have a class A, here have a method public, sorry, private void display. Okay.
Okay.
And I am again creating class B as a subclass of A, means class B extend class A. Here I am writing public void display. So in that scenario, overriding will happen or not?
Okay. So in your super class, that
So
is a class A, your
here
method
is a private void display.
which where is private
In superclass
in superclass private and subclass
have
public,
a
right?
public, yes.
Okay. No, in that
In that case, overriding concept will follow or not?
okay. So in that case, overriding will not be followed because because in our subclass we don't have access to the superclass method, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay. Suppose I just removing overriding. Okay. Removing overriding like that, override annotation or anything else. Okay. So
okay,
suppose I want compile and run this program. So will happen successfully compile and run? Override will not follow.
yeah.
Okay. But compile and run will follow or not?
It will compile and run.
Why? Because of I already given the condition. I am just removing override annotation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Override annotation. Because of if you override annotation do, so in that cases will compilation error, right? But I don't want write override annotation. So in that scenario, it will compilation error will throw or not? Because of you are working in Java 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking you. Okay, let's move on next question. For your reference, it will compile and run because of both methods are independently call in both classes. Okay, we are
Yeah.
not going to overwrite because a private modifier cannot be override. So in
Mm-hmm.
that scenario, that method would not follow the overriding concept. Okay, so this will compile and run. If you forcefully you put at the rate auto override in child class, so in that case we'll give the compilation error.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, just I will ask one more question related to this. Suppose class A have a constructor A. Okay, here I am printing system out.println constructor A. Class B, just you remove method and everything. Okay, just I am taking constructor only. Class B extend class A and constructor B is a printing constructor B system out.println constructor B. Okay, So
Okay.
now I am creating object of class B in main method.
Okay.
So if I am running this program, so which constructor first will call?
Um, okay. So first we'll call the constructor B, but it in the first line it will automatically call the constructor of A. So there will be printing of the class A, then class B.
Printing class A means constructor A first will print or
Constructor A first will print,
okay,
then constructor.
okay. That your correct answer after discussing to all things about that. Uh, so you aware about hash table and concurrent hash map?
Yeah.
Yeah, please tell.
Okay. Okay. So concurrent hash map is a like the thread safe implementation of the hash map. So uh, secondly, like uh, it is like the fail safe iterator, and also it also a fail safe iterator. So what it means, uh, like when you're iterating through the concurrent hash map, uh, uh, like if we manipulate or add elements, suppose other threads are adding elements to the hash map, it still works. It does not throw exceptions for that. Like the concurrent modification exception will not be thrown in this case. Uh,
Okay,
uh, so, okay.
okay. So suppose I want make a singleton class, okay, through Java program. So how do you make?
Okay. So there are a couple of steps needs to be followed. So first, I cannot. So first, I need to make the constructor as a private. Secondly, I should have a uh, static class instance inside that as attribute. Third, I should have a static method to get the instance, uh, and that can get instance method to make it the thread safe. I need to make it I can use a synchronized block with double check on the null keyword. So and inside that I can check that if it is still not null, I will create the instance, and at that return the instance.
Suppose any I want to make in any other way. So suppose in singleton class your constructor will be private or public. If suppose
Singleton plus constructor is be private.
private,
Yes.
so suppose I will write a constructor as a public. So what will happen? Is that class will be a singleton or not?
So if we have a public constructor, there is no way to stop like multiple instance creation.
Okay, okay. So for stopping multiple instance creation, it is need to be write as a private constructor, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. Uh, next question. Any other way can make singleton?
There are a couple of other way. So I'm not exactly sure of the syntax, but we can also have a like the static inner class way of uh, creating a singleton. In that case, like synchronization does not needs to be there, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, okay. So you are in a Spring Boot, Spring framework. You are working. So how do you making singleton?
Okay, so like in case of Spring or Spring Boot, here like I ourselves we do not create the the instance. So I configure the Spring
Hmm.
and set the configure the scope of the bean. Like I say, like I want this to be a singleton, like the scope of singleton. Then Spring will manage the life cycle as a singleton class, a singleton instance. We also can do a prototype which does not follow, like every request will get another new instance for that.
Okay. No, that why I'm telling, because of you are using some annotation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you auto wired, it is also work as a singleton, right? If you auto
Yeah.
wired means as per the required, you can create the instances of the class. But
Yes.
during the initialization, during the initialization, so Spring Framework have ability to create by default as a singleton. Okay.
Yeah.
So so okay, no problem. But we am good for this example. Another question, just I am asking about uh, final class. How do you make final class?
Final class.
Custom. Suppose I will tell, just suppose I am lead of you. So I am telling just to make a one final class for calling for the particular business scenario. Okay. Just I given this instruction. So how do you make final class?
Uh, I'm not exactly get the question. Like final class means like we already have a final keyword which we can connect like
No, no,
annotate.
no, no, no. Final class, because
You
of
mean immutable class?
custom final class. How you make custom final class?
No, I'm asking like, do you mean like the immutable class?
Yes, you can say immutable. But the thing is same. I am asking, if I am asking how do you make final class, if I am asking in other way, how do you make a immutable class? Both
Yeah,
are
like
same.
actually I was thinking like the final keyword in
Hmm.
case of Java.
Hmm.
So okay, um, okay, yeah. So it means like the when you create an instance out of it, we cannot modify the data
Hmm.
uh, of it, right?
Hmm.
So similarly, we need to follow some particular steps. So first, uh, um, like the attributes should be like the private and final. We can only assign it through the constructor. Um, Secondly, we should not have any setter method on that. We only can have getter methods. Uh, third is that like if the class has a relationship with other class uh, or any list or any map, something like that. Like during the initialization, we should make a clone or deep copy of that element during uh, initialization. Similarly, when you returning or the get in the get method, when you are returning the element, you create a local instance of it, new instance like the deep copy, and return that instance. So from outside, when it get the instance, cannot modify the actual data. Uh, and thirdly, we need to make the class as a final so that we cannot make a child class out of it. Uh,
Okay, okay, got it. Mm, so, uh, just I am coming in collection framework. Okay.
okay,
So, what are difference between linked list and array list?
okay. Um, Okay, so both are the like the dynamic size of array. You can consider. So they're they're different in the implementation. Okay, so what array list is based on the concept of the normal array. So it's a uh, it's an index based addition and retrieval kind of thing. So when the size of the element or crosses the size of the array, it will like increase the size of 50% like that. But in case of linked list, so that implementation is based on the linked list. So we have a node, so linked list points to the head of the node, and we can add the elements like a linked list of elements, so uh, it is more dynamic.
So, you aware about high-sync collision?
Yes.
Yeah, please tell.
Hash collision, right?
Yes.